Hello, I'm Nick Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
The Young and the Restless Spoilers full. Welcome back to our channel. It is a beautiful Tuesday, and we are diving straight into the absolute madness that is happening in Genoa City and Las Vegas right now. Grab a massive cup of coffee because we have a mountain of chaotic updates to get through today. My fingers are literally cramping from typing all this out, but the drama never sleeps, and neither do we. So let us just jump right into the deep end of this messy storyline. So let's just get right into it because the spoilers for The Young and the Restless are painting a very stressful picture right now. And I mean really stressful. The kind of stressful that makes you want to pull your hair out while screaming at the television screen. Because it all revolves around Adam Newman having some seriously mixed emotions when a very familiar face suddenly shows up in Las Vegas. And honestly, who wouldn't have mixed emotions in his shoes? The guy is dealing with a literal life or death situation, drowning in guilt, trying to navigate the criminal underworld, and then boom, the love of his life just drops in unannounced. Of course we are talking about Chelsea Lawson, the one and only, the woman who recently decided that enough is enough and packed her bags. She decided it was time to take matters into her own hands. To stop waiting for phone calls that never come, to stop listening to half-truths, and to make a trip to Sin City herself. And honestly, who can blame her for making that call? The woman has been sitting in Genoa City, Wisconsin, just losing her mind with worry, just pacing the floors, drinking too much coffee, staring at her phone. It is a nightmare. Because Chelsea has been having these absolutely terrifying nightmares lately, just waking up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night, dreaming that Adam has completely lost himself again, that he has transformed back into his dark, gambling alter ego, Spider, and worse than that, in her dream, he doesn't even recognize her anymore. Which is literally Chelsea's worst fear come to life right in front of her eyes, because she fought so hard to get the real Adam back, to pull him out of that dark place years ago. And now, he is right back in the thick of it, surrounded by the neon lights and the shady characters of Vegas. It is just too much for her to handle. The anxiety is eating her alive. And that nightmare just shook Chelsea to her absolute core, leaving her completely unglued, because she knows how fragile Adam's grip on his identity can be when he is pushed to the edge. But then you have Sharon Newman over there trying to play the voice of reason, trying to talk Chelsea off the ledge. Sharon has been doing her best to convince Chelsea that everything is fine, that Nick Newman is right there with Adam in Vegas, and that Nick will always be there to support his brother and keep him grounded, because Nick is the reliable one, right, the golden boy, the protector, the guy who always does the right thing. Sharon is just so sure that Nick has the situation entirely under control. But unfortunately for everyone involved, Sharon has completely misjudged the situation, totally misread the room, because Nick is not protecting anyone right now. In fact, Nick is the one who is in the biggest trouble of his entire life, thanks to Matt Clark, because Matt is a total psychopath who has been plotting his revenge for a long time. And Nick walked right into his trap. Like an absolute amateur, Nick thought he was being so smart, going rogue to handle Matt alone, but Matt was 10 steps ahead, waiting in the shadows. So by the time we get to the April 13th episode, Nick is going to find himself tied up in some dingy storage room, completely helpless, just bound and gagged and at the mercy of his worst enemy. And the craziest part is that Nick thought he was the one setting the trap. He thought he was being the hero, but Matt waited in Adam's room, ambushed Nick instead. And now the golden boy is a hostage, just sitting there staring at the guy who wants to destroy his entire family. It is a complete disaster, a total failure of a plan. And let's not forget the drugs, because Nick is not just tied up. He is heavily drugged, pumped full of fentanyl for weeks, which has completely clouded his judgment, making him reckless, making him make stupid decisions that led him right into this horrific situation. The drugs are making him groggy, confused. He can barely keep his eyes open, which is just a terrifying state to be in when you are staring directly into the eyes of a guy who wants you dead. You just have to feel awful for Nick in this moment, even if he brought some of it on himself. And remember that phone call, the one Nick made to Sharon and Chelsea. He tried to sound so upbeat, so in control, saying Adam was with Riza and everything was fine. But then he literally started nodding off on the phone, falling asleep mid-sentence because the fentanyl was dragging him under. And Sharon and Chelsea were just left on the other end of the line wondering if he was even still there. It was chilling. Just a really dark, clunky scene that shows exactly how bad things have gotten, and it proves that Sharon's blind faith in Nick was totally misplaced. So Adam is going to have to figure this out. He has to find a way to locate Nick and save him from this massive danger, because Adam knows this is partially his fault. He agreed to Nick's stupid plan against his better judgment. He let his brother take the lead. And now Nick is missing. And Adam is panicking, because he knows exactly what Matt Clark is capable of. The guy is a monster, and Adam is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders right now, desperately trying to fix a mess that has spiraled completely out of control. And who does Adam turn to for help? Riza Thompson. Because of course he does. Riza is his lifeline in Vegas. She knows the underground. She knows the players. She actually introduced Spider to Matt back in the day as the best card player she knew, so she has the connections. But here is the thing. Riza is not exactly someone Adam can trust completely. She is a wild card, a manipulative player in a very dangerous game, and Adam is basically putting Nick's life in her hands. Sure, Riza has a soft spot for Adam. She genuinely cares about him. She even kissed him recently, because she wants him back in her world, but she is also operating with her own agenda. So Adam is playing a very dangerous game by relying on her. He is flirting with her, kissing her back, using her connections to try and track down Matt's hideout, but it is a massive risk. Because if Riza decides to turn on him, or if she decides she likes the Spider version of him better than the Adam version, things could get really bad really fast. But thankfully, Chelsea did not ignore her gut feelings. Her intuition was screaming at her that something was horribly wrong in Vegas, and she was right. Because a woman's intuition is rarely wrong on this show, she couldn't just sit around Crimson Lights drinking coffee and listening to Sharon's empty reassurances anymore. She knew she had to take action. She knew that if she stayed in Genoa City, she would just go crazy. So she made the hardest choice she could make. So Chelsea packs her bags, she books a flight, and she decides to head to Vegas herself, which is a huge move, and she is scheduled to arrive right there on April 15th. Just dropping into the middle of this chaotic, deadly mess, without an invitation, without a plan, just running on pure adrenaline and love for Adam. And a desperate need to make sure her family doesn't fall apart. It is such a bold move, but that is Chelsea for you. She never backs down from a fight when her family is on the line. And you better believe Adam is going to be completely blindsided when Chelsea suddenly shows up. Just absolute shock on his face. He is already dealing with the guilt of losing Nick, the stress of dealing with Riza, the fear of Matt Clark, and now the love of his life is standing right in front of him in the most dangerous city in the world for them right now. He is probably going to have a mini heart attack just seeing her walk through those doors, because this is the last place she should be. Chelsea is going to insist that she had a terrible feeling, a premonition that things were going sideways, and Adam is probably going to have to swallow his pride and admit that she is not wrong. Because things are a disaster, he is going to have to confess that Matt got the upper hand, that Matt outsmarted them and captured Nick, and that the situation is incredibly dire. It is going to be a really tough conversation, just laying all the ugly truths out on the table for her to see. But even though Adam will admit he needs help, he is definitely going to think that Chelsea should turn right back around, get back on a plane and go home to Genoa City, because Matt is a lunatic. And Adam does not want Chelsea anywhere near this psycho. He is going to try to protect her, to shield her from the darkness of the spider world, because he loves her. And the thought of Matt getting his hands on Chelsea is probably enough to make Adam physically sick. But Chelsea is not going anywhere. Not a chance. She is going to dig her heels in, and she is going to remind Adam exactly who she is. She is not just some helpless housewife. She is Chelsea Lawson, daughter of Anita, a former world-class con artist, a grifter who knows how to run a scam better than anyone in Genoa City. And she is going to insist that her particular set of skills could be exactly what they need right now. She is going to throw her past right in his face as a resume for why she needs to stay. Because think about it, to beat a criminal mastermind like Matt Clark, you need someone who knows how to lie, how to cheat, how to manipulate a situation, and Chelsea has a PhD in all of that. She can read people, she can play a part, she can run a con, and she is going to argue that her skills are way more useful than anything Nick brought to the table. Which, let's be honest, is probably true given how quickly Nick got captured. Chelsea knows how to hustle, and right now, they need a hustler. And Adam is going to have to process that. He is going to realize that he trusts Chelsea more than anyone else in the world. And he definitely trusts her a million times more than he trusts Riza Thompson, because Riza has her own agenda. But Chelsea's only agenda is saving Adam and getting their family back home safely. So Adam is likely going to realize that he shouldn't stand in her way, that they make a great team, and that maybe, just maybe, Chelsea is the secret weapon they need to take Matt down. Which brings us to the inevitable showdown, because Chelsea is absolutely going to cross paths with Riza. And oh boy, that is going to be a tense meeting, just sparks flying everywhere. Because Riza knows about Chelsea, but knowing about someone and seeing them in the flesh are two very different things. And Riza has been making moves on Adam, hissing him, trying to pull him back into her orbit. So when Chelsea walks in, the dynamic is going to shift entirely. It is going to be incredibly awkward and incredibly hostile. So Chelsea is going to have to lay down the law. She is going to make it crystal clear to Riza exactly where she stands. She might have to watch Adam play his spider role. She might even have to tolerate Adam being chummy with Riza for the sake of finding Nick. But Chelsea is going to mark her territory. She is going to let Riza know, and know in certain terms, that Adam is her man, and Riza needs to back the heck off. Chelsea is not going to play nice. She is going to be fierce. And honestly, I cannot wait to see Chelsea put Riza in her place, because Chelsea has that fiery, protective energy. When it comes to her family, she is a lioness. And Riza might think she is tough because she runs the Vegas underground, but she has never dealt with a motivated Chelsea Lawson. It is going to be a clash of the titans. Just two strong, manipulative women fighting over the same guy while a life hangs in the balance. The drama is just writing itself at this point. Because we cannot forget the stakes here. Nick is literally tied up in a room with fentanyl in his system, while Matt Clark gloats. And there is this huge fan theory floating around. The Sherlock and Moriarty theory, that this whole storyline is building up to a massive, deadly cliffhanger, where Nick and Matt both seemingly go over the edge, both presumed dead. Only for Nick to survive while the villain dies. It is a terrifying prospect, and it means the clock is ticking faster than ever. So Adam and Chelsea are going to have to work fast. They are going to have to use Riz's connections, Chelsea's con artist skills, and Adam's dark spider instincts to track down that storage room. Before it is too late. Before Matt Clark pulls the trigger or gives Nick a lethal dose of drugs. It is a race against time, and the tension is just unbearable. I am literally sweating just typing this out because the suspense is killing me. So, we will have to tune in all week to see how this Vegas mess entangles. Will Chelsea's grifting skills be the key to outsmarting Matt? Will Riza betray them out of jealousy? Will Adam fully revert to Spider to save his brother? It is just a massive information dump of drama, and I am here for every single second of it. So keep your eyes peeled because the April 15th episode is going to change everything. And I will be right here typing furiously to bring you all the fallout.